afternoon, I'm Lisa LaRue, and this is Westminster News at 12:30. Here are the headlines. GPs will be open on evenings and weekends due to increased demand. Amnesty International says Europe is to blame for the Libyan slave trade. And the EU responds to Netanyahu over the Jerusalem controversy. First, a Canadian doctor is saying that man flu may in fact be real. With temperatures plummeting across the UK, this may be bad news for many as flu season has hit well ahead of schedule. Luckily, Londoners will now be given GP access over evenings and the weekend. Spencer Jang has more.
According to BBC website, Londoners now can book GP appointments for evening, weekends, and bank holidays. This means extra 75,000 routine per month will be available in the capital. London is the first area to offer these extended services. If surgeries are fully booked or closed when registered patients call up, they'll be able to work with their nearby practice. GP will also have access to the electronic patient's record, so the patients will not have to be seen by their regular doctors. NH England Professor Jim Cummings said appointments at evening and weekends will help manage pressure on urgent and emergency care services, especially over the winter period. Here's Bin Xun Zhang from Westminster News.
EU leaders have been accused of being complicit in the torture and exploitation of thousands of migrants by the EU-financed Libyan Coast Guard. Over the weekend, thousands of protesters gathered together to call on the UK government to put pressure on Libyan leaders to stop slavery. Jasmine Zhao reports.
After a few delays, Victoria Palace Theatre is now open for previews, which are public.
Tell her to come back.
The anti-slavery march against Libyan slave trade just took place in front of the Libyan embassy in London last Saturday. Over thousands of protesters gathered together calling on the UK government to put pressure on Libyan leaders to stop the illegal markets.
So we're here today in front of the Libya embassy to say no to slavery, because slavery was started a long time ago and is over. Today, every country have Independence Day, meaning that we're free. Each country is a free country.
Since CNN released footage of people being sold in a modern-day slave market in Libya, people have responded in outrage. This time, demonstrators gathered outside the embassy around midday and marched to the Parliament Square.
Today to say stop the slavery in Libya, because those young African men, they have done nothing, just passing by to go to Europe. It's not even Libya is not their final destination. They're just passing.
The anti-slavery protest has been organized across different cities of the UK. With the help of the protest, 6 out of the original 30 detention centers have been closed. Protesters want to raise the public's awareness through the protest, put pressure on African presidents, as well as send a strong warning to the criminals.
If you don't protest, and then we saw there was this thing happening in Libya and the slavery, oh okay, fine, and everyone could moan about it, but no one actually cares. If everyone comes together, then the government has to see that everyone cares. They have to see that people are angry. People who live in England are not happy about this rubbish that's happening in this country. So at the end of the day, to know the mass of people are upset, it does put pressure on the nations to do it. I mean, all this happening all over the world. It's happening in America, it's happening in different parts of Europe, happening in different parts of England. People are not happy about this, and I do think it's going to make a difference.
The petition calling on the government to put pressure on Libya to stop enslavement of black Africans has got over 206,000 signatures until now. And UK Parliament is set to debate the petition on the 18th of December. This is Jasmine Zhao, Westminster News.
The EU's foreign police chief has said that its member states will not recognize Jerusalem as the Israeli capital until a peace agreement has been reached. This comes after Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said that he wanted the EU to follow the U.S. statement of intent to move the American embassy to Jerusalem from Tel Aviv. Thousands of people gathered in London to protest the decision over this weekend. Alice Fakini has more.
After Trump's decision to officially recognize Jerusalem as the capital of Israel, tensions escalated not only in the Middle East, but also in many European cities, including London. On Friday evening, thousands of people protested in front of the US Embassy with chants of Free Palestine and Hands Off Jerusalem. This demonstration, organized by the Palestine Solidarity Campaign and other pro-Palestinian organizations, aimed to send a clear message to the US president.
The Palestinian people have a legitimate claim to a capital in Jerusalem. There can be no Palestinian state that does not have a capital in Jerusalem. So what he did effectively was show a lack of even-handedness, to only respect the rights of one party, the rights of Israel. It demands a robust response from all of the international community.
Trump's announcement also provoked condemnation from US allies. British Prime Minister Theresa May said this move was unhelpful in terms of prospects for peace in the region, and stated the UK did not intend to follow suit. The Britain-Israel Communication and Research Center said that Trump is still recognizing the two-state solution as the best solution to the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. They highlighted that he left open the question on how much control Israel would have in the future in Jerusalem.
Well, there's nothing inherently wrong with recognizing Jerusalem as the capital of Israel, and Trump was right when he said he was recognizing reality. Israel considers Jerusalem to be its capital. It has all its institutions there. American presidents, British prime ministers, when they go to Israel, they talk in the Israeli parliament, they meet the prime minister in Jerusalem. The question really is, what do you do about the future of the city and the fact that the Palestinians want the east of the city to be their capital?
Yesterday, Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu made his first official trip to Brussels. European foreign ministers have strongly rejected these calls to follow Trump's example and recognize Jerusalem as Israel's capital. In the meantime, West Bank and Gaza have seen at least 4 Palestinians killed by Israeli troops, while almost 800 have been injured.
The Alabama Senate election will go forward today with Judge Roy Moore as the Republican candidate. The campaign has been plagued by allegations that Moore sought sexual relationships with teenagers in his 30s. Despite an endorsement by President Trump, some late polls show that Moore's opponent, Democrat Doug Jones, could pull off an upset. Meanwhile, Trump's own sexual misconduct allegations are back in the news. 3 of his more than a dozen accusers have demanded that Congress open an investigation into the president's behavior. The women believe that Trump should face the same scrutiny as others in power who have lost their positions after sexual misconduct allegations. The British Lung Foundation has called for more hospital beds. In its new report, the foundation said that a number of adults and children who struggle to breathe are rising. Mohammed Bouabdallah has more.
The British Lung Foundation is warning that there could be a crisis in accidents and emergency departments. This is because of air pollution, an aging population and smoking. The foundation is urging hospitals to be better prepared for this predictable surge in the number of cases. In its report, the British Lung Foundation said that many hospitals are not prepared for this. A Freedom of Information request revealed that only 10% of hospital trusts had plans in place to make more beds available. Last year, more than 700,000 adults and children arrived at accidents and emergency departments with respiratory conditions. About 41% of them needed to be admitted to hospital. Mohammed Bouabdallah, Westminster News.
A new study has revealed the importance of the warnings printed on the front of cigarette packages. The study focused particularly on the impact on young people. Alice Fakini has more.
Smoking kills texts on cigarettes packages actually deter young people from smoking. A new study from Cancer Research UK has found that printing warnings makes young people 3 times less likely to smoke. While overall smoking rates are down in the UK, as many as 1 in 6 16 to 24-year-olds smokes. We've asked some students at the University of Westminster what they think.
I think it was a great decision to try something new, but at the same time, I feel like constant smoke, I don't think it's gonna stop you. I think it might stop the ones that are trying to I don't know, want this lifestyle. But if you're really into a healthy lifestyle, you won't start. It would really look disgusting.
I think they're really effective because I actually stopped smoking normal cigarettes and I'm only smoking e-cigarettes, which are a lot more healthy. So I think that really helped because the images are really gross and they kind of did put me off smoking, and I didn't like the smell either, and all those images kind of portrayed that as well. So yeah, I guess so.
Well, I don't think they're really worse, to be honest. I think that we smokers, we got accustomed to them and we don't really react to them anymore. And for me myself, I get cigarettes from my home country and they don't really have any visuals, so they only have a copy saying about all the damage that smoking can cause, and you don't really kind of react to that.
I think they're useful for younger people, but not for people who smoke already, because you're so used to getting the pack, you're not even looking at it anymore. But yeah, maybe for young people, I think especially pictures of your lungs and stuff like this.
Metropolitan Police are appealing for witnesses to come forward after a young woman was struck by 4 vehicles in South London yesterday morning. Police believe she was hit by a lorry and 3 subsequent vehicles before an ambulance was called. She was pronounced dead after rescue efforts by first responders. All 4 drivers failed to stop at the scene. Black people in England and Wales are 8 times more likely to be stopped and searched for possession of marijuana than white people. This comes from a report of the Inspectorate of Constabulary that also showed that black people stopped were less likely to have illegal substances on them. The National Police Chiefs Council said it would look into why young black men are disproportionately stopped. A Craft Council report suggests that Londoners have reduced Christmas spending compared to last year and are shifting to buying authentic handmade items. Zahida Ribzi has more.
The Renegade Craft Fair, opening up a platform for startups and experienced craftsmen, reports that they have been witnessing most people shifting their Christmas spending towards handcraft items in the recent years. J.K. Anyawi, one of the organizers of the Renegade Craft Fair, tells me that London and US craft industry are almost similar in terms of the products displayed.
Last year and to this year, being in London, there definitely seems to be more of a diverse group here in terms of products and in terms of vendors. Last year there was a lot more paper products, and this year there's more of an assortment. There's paper, there's clothing, there's jewelry, there's we have a lot of workshops here, and food. And also another thing that I've noticed here is that there seems to be more of a diverse crowd, which is kind of a difference between the US and Europe.
Well-crafted items which are handmade are not mass-manufactured. That revenue has not necessarily reached a point where it is gradually increased.
Ownership of the direction of their careers, especially a lot of artists or independent makers. It gives them options other than employing themselves for a bigger company. So let's just say someone's very passionate about woodworking and they want to kind of create their own business. It's generating opportunities within that, and some of them will grow to a degree where they can employ other people and create like-minded companies.
The craft industry, through mediums such as craft fairs, contribute to innovation and raises the possibility that craft may be making very significant contributions to innovation and therefore growth in the UK economy. And this is Zahida Ribzi reporting for Westminster News.
The thrill and excitement of the English Premier League returns tonight, with Chelsea hoping to bounce back after their defeat to West Ham over the weekend. Burnley will continue their push into the top 4 by welcoming Watford, who were hammered 5-1 by Liverpool over the weekend, while bottom-placed Crystal Palace takes on Stoke City. That's all we have for now. We'll see you again at 4 o'clock.